Before we get to your scheduled video, please remember that likes and comments tell YouTube to promote our work to other people, and subscribing to the channel tells you when something new drops. You can also head to the link tree in the description to peruse my books, join us on Discord, or support us on Patreon. You can get episodes of Journey of Wrestling and Violent Profiles early, as well as a load of other treats. Even just $1 a month earns you a name drop for being cool. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. Greetings and salutations, fellow cubic chicken, and if I've already used that one...
You actually use cubic chicken fairly often, yeah.
Well, I only got that cubic chicken recently, so...
You love it, clearly.
It's just things I can see. Greetings and salutations, fellow people who can see, and those of you who can't. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
Hi.
This is the Two Nerds Podcast. This is Two Nerds Don't Go to the Movies. But before we get into, at the very least, September of 1994, I do need to talk about who's cool.
Who is that?
Destrucity KTL, Harmony DG, on the tip of your tongue, Passion Killer 711, a guy from Ohio, and Rob.
Well, that's a good list.
I think so. I'm pretty fond of them. You too can become cool by going to the Patreon, subscribing at the $1 tier. You get episodes of Journey of Wrestling a week early. There's also all kinds of other goodies on there at other tiers. You can tell us what to podcast if you want. That's a little more expensive, but you only have to do it once. Or however many times you want to tell us what to podcast. Today, however, we are talking films we did or did not see.
From the 90s.
From the 90s. My voice is being a little weird, I don't know why. This started out as like proving that superhero movies weren't the only kind of movie in the modern day. We went back to the 90s because we got tired of just seeing movies we were never going to watch. And, I don't know, throwback stuff tickles the algorithm a little bit more.
And prove that movies, it wasn't like there were more different kinds of movies before. There were, in fact, a lot less movies before.
Yep.
But now we just sort of do it because it's fun.
Yeah, basically. And sometimes we find movies we want to give a watch, so...
that has never worked out for us so far.
No, we keep choosing really terrible movies. I do want to say, there was one we covered a couple of months ago. La Vida Loca, I believe, or Mi Vida Loca. Danny Trejo just posted about it. I guess he was in the film, and it was a very seminal film for Latinos and, you know, people living in America.
Neat.
So yeah, it was really important and cool. Things you learn. Isn't it funny how stuff comes up like that? Today we're beginning with a simple twist of fate. This is the Hardy Brothers biography. No, they were like 16 at the time. This is a Steve Martin film, loosely based on the 1861 novel Silas Marner.
Okay, all right. Not what I was expecting there.
Especially because the plot begins with when a high school music teacher.
You've loosely based indeed.
I don't think this is for me.
Yeah, I'm good.
Gabriel Byrne.
It's mostly just that I want to say something that might be controversial. I don't know. I don't actually think Steve Martin's that funny. He's not, like, not funny. He doesn't make me mad. It's just normally... that's a good joke.
I like Steve Martin, but I'm not a fan of, like, The Jerk. And it's not that it's bad, it's just that it's a kind of humor I just don't really care that much for.
I mean, I saw that when I was a kid. I couldn't even tell you what it's about anymore. I remember one joke, and it's the first line in the movie.
But yeah, otherwise, I like his delivery and execution and stuff. I like him a lot more now that he's an older man, and his comedy has...
Smooth.
Yeah, it's not of the era. He's very clever. The next film is Scooby-Doo in Arabian Nights. I have seen most of this.
Is this an Aladdin crossover?
No. Well, maybe a little bit, but like it's Arabian Nights. Like
okay.
they're friends with Scheherazade, if I recall correctly.
Okay, sure. Why the hell not? Scheherazade, John Cena, and the Harlem Globetrotters. That dog sure is friends with everyone.
Yeah, Alia Din. It is an Aladdin, but they made her a lady.
And Jennifer Hale.
And it's Jennifer Hale, yeah. So we can understand why I was rapt at the time. Yeah, and it shows how long ago that was that I Sinbad's there too. So
Yeah.
I watched this on Cartoon Network back when they had the checkerboard logo. I wasn't paying that much attention. It was on while I was doing something else. And it could not have been that long after it debuted. Like, a couple of years.
I've definitely never seen this.
Yeah, it didn't stick in my head or anything. Like any Scooby-Doo movie, I remember a little bit about it, but I had no idea it was that recent at the time. Is that something you want to watch? Should I
No.
Okay, all right. A Good Man in Africa.
Starring Sean Connery. Is this a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen prequel? What's going on?
Starring Colin Friels, actually. He's a British diplomat living in Kinshasa, an African nation which has recently become independent from British rule. It's a political situation. It's a comedy drama, I guess. Got John Lithgow, that's pretty cool. I like him. Lou Gossett Jr., he's good too. Based on William Boyd's 1981 novel, A Good Man in Africa. I don't think this is my thing.
I'm sure this was fine.
Yeah, probably. Good cast, so probably good acting. Rapa Nui, I'm guessing. Historical action adventure, produced by Kevin Costner.
Okay.
From the guy who did Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Okay. That's his Robin Hood movie.
Yeah.
That's Kevin Costner's Robin Hood
Yeah.
movie. So this is a thing they decided to do on the set of Robin Hood, I'm going to guess.
Maybe, yeah. There's no plot summary, it's just the entirety of the plot. It looks like a Polynesian thing. Oh, he calls it his worst film, does the director.
Oh! Intriguing. I'm not going to watch it, but I'm interested to know if a director says, this was bad, I did a bad job here, that's interesting to me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even hear of this. Like, I don't even remember commercials. Not that I do for a lot of these. Like, Trial by Jury. A legal thriller. Remember when those were really popular? Gabriel Byrne's back.
Go for Gabriel Byrne.
Armand Asante,
He
William
was busy
Hurt.
in the 90s, I guess.
Again, crime boss, there's legal stuff going on.
I mean, this is probably something I would have liked.
Yeah.
Like, if I had seen it when I was in my teens. I liked a lot of legal thriller stuff back then.
I liked the TV shows, but I never really got into the movies. I guess I didn't... Well, you know, most of them were R-rated.
I read a lot of legal thriller books,
Yeah.
and that naturally translates into movies.
What Happened Was is our next film. It's got legs on it. I kind of remember this cover from the video store.
Well, you know.
Adaptation of the stage play. Yeah, I don't know. Not in a weird way. I do happen to remember this. It's very striking, you know. The film depicts two people played by Karen Silas and Tom Noonan on a first date. Tom Noonan is the director and writer. Their conversation gradually reveals their lonely lives and hidden personalities. It's very well received.
Independent film, two people on a date. Man, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, son. You'd like this movie. This movie screams movie White would like.
I don't know if I'm like that anymore. But it was. There was a period in my life where I was like that, absolutely. Chasing Amy for snobs is maybe what I would call the genre. And I was that snob.
I mean, that's a great way of putting it, yeah.
Quiz show. Oh, that looks intimidating. Dramatizing the 21 quiz show scandals of the 1950s. Adapts the memoirs of Richard N. Goodwin, I can read, a U.S. congressional lawyer who investigated the accusations of game fixing by show producers.
So this is a historical mystery drama from the 90s about were game shows in the 50s fixed.
What a cast. John Turturro, Rob Morrow, Ralph Fiennes, Charles Van Doren, Paul Schofield, David Paymer, Hank Azaria, Martin Scorsese, Mira Sorvino, and Christopher McDonald.
In the 90s, people made incredibly niche films.
They sure did. That seems interesting. I don't know if it's interesting enough to watch. What's the runtime? 133 minutes. I don't know if that's interesting enough to watch, but that is interesting. I think I'd rather watch a documentary. Give me the Defunct Land on that.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take a Defunct Land on that. That's a very niche concept to treat that seriously.
Here's another video cover I remember. Blue Sky, Jessica Lange, Tommy Lee Jones, Powers Booth. That's pretty good. Marital problems, mental illness, military stuff.
I'm gonna guess Tommy Lee Jones plays a repressed white guy, and he has marriage problems. That's gonna be my guess. Tell me in the comments if I'm right, because I'm not watching this movie.
Yeah, it's not my vibe. Nostradamus. There he is. That's what he looks like.
Definitely.
It's about Nostradamus. What could you expect?
I mean, you know what? Good. Yeah, I would have been a little upset if it wasn't.
Rutger Hauer's there, so he plays the Mystic Monk. What else could you ask for?
That is a comic book character name.
I'm not. I don't care.
Oh no, I don't give a crap about Nostradamus' friends.
I know what I need to about Nostradamus. Princess Caraboo.
Oh, I don't think this is an American movie.
1994 American historical comedy drama film.
Man, that poster, that does not.
Based on the real-life 19th century character Princess Caraboo, who passed herself off in British society as an exotic princess who spoke a strange foreign language. Starring Phoebe Cates.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the Prince Ali part of the Aladdin movie.
But like a whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, John Lithgow's back. Jim Broadbent's here.
John Lithgow and Jim Broadbent.
Yeah.
That's a tour de force of weird guys with buggy eyes.
It sure is. I'll take it, though. I don't know. I could see being interested in that, but not that interested.
Time Cop!
Time Cop.
Time Cop, I've seen.
I have not seen Time Cop.
Time Cop was not good.
I would probably like Time Cop.
You would love Time Cop. Time Cop is the other half of movies White loves.
Yeah. Jean-Claude Van Damme, who uses time travel to arrest people.
He's a time cop.
Look, I am aware of Time Cop.
This is as straightforward as Nostradamus.
Yeah, really, what more could you ask for?
He kicks guys.
I need them to have used the subtitle from the 3-part story, Time Cop, A Man Out of Time.
That's great.
They messed up.
That's, you know what, that's the money left on the table.
Time Cop could have been better. The Burning Season. Oh, he's upset. Made-for-TV biographical drama. About environmental activist Chico Mendez fight to protect the Amazon rainforest. Raul Julia's last film released during his lifetime. Chico
I
Mendez
recognized him.
was a Brazilian rubber tapper, unionist, and environmental activist who was murdered. Spoilers. Yeah, I don't know. Not really my thing, especially when I was a child.
Didn't know. I thought his last movie was Street Fighter.
This was the last movie that came out while he was still alive.
Oh, Street Fighter came out after he was dead.
I'm almost positive. I do like Raul Julia, though, and if you're into that kind of thing, it looks good. My Summer Story, originally released in theaters as It Runs in the Family, is a comedy film directed by Bob Clark that serves as a sequel to A Christmas Story. That's right.
Oh! Okay, and that's why they changed the name. To make it sound more like A Christmas Story.
Probably, yeah. The opening makes direct reference to the events of A Christmas Story. I have actually wanted to see...
I have seen A Christmas Story 47,000 times in parts. So it would be interesting to see what happens next with this family.
They had to recast it.
Uh-huh.
We've got Mary Steenburgen as Mrs. Parker. We've got Kieran Culkin as Ralphie. And most importantly, Charles Grodin as the old man. I bet it's bad, but I really want to see it. I've been meaning to check out the sequels, especially the older ones to this film, to A Christmas Story. Like you said, I've seen it a million times.
It would be interesting to see what happens next with this family.
Yeah.
Does it go on the list?
Maybe, yeah.
I think we both kind of think of this as interesting, so I think maybe it goes on the list.
By default. The Shawshank Redemption.
Little-known independent film.
Especially for us living in central Ohio.
I have been to the prison where this is filmed many times.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal film.
Yeah, I mean, look, what are we gonna fucking do in our silly little Two Nerds podcast with a small but very dedicated following, which we very much appreciate? I'm gonna sit here and glaze the Shawshank Redemption for the next 20 minutes? No, it was great. Of course it was great. It's the fucking Shawshank Redemption. It's based on one of, like, Stephen King's best works, that focuses on, like, human emotion more than a scary laundry compactor. And it's honestly one of the... It's one of the things, a Stephen King adaptation, that, like, improves on the source material. And those are kind of few and far between for me.
Yeah, good film. I have no other notes, nothing to say here. Sleep With Me. A comedy drama starring Meg Tilly, Eric Stoltz, and Craig Sheffer, who play good friends that become involved in a love triangle, a relationship complicated by the marriage of Tilly and Stoltz's characters. Also features Parker Posey, Joey Lauren Adams, and a cameo by Quentin Tarantino.
Whoa, okay, alright. Fucking, that's burying the lead.
In which he expounds on the homoerotic subtext of Top Gun.
So what they did there was they put a camera on Quentin Tarantino and just let him go.
He just wandered on set, and they were like, just keep rolling.
Shh. We'll give his character a name later. Shut up.
That movie lost me and then brought me back in.
Like, what I was gonna say is, every time I hear his name, I forget Eric Stoltz had a career and wasn't just Phantom Marty McFly.
Yeah.
But also, that didn't sound interesting at all, and then Parker Posey and Quentin Tarantino showed up.
I like Joey Lauren Adams.
I mean, I do too, but like...
Alright, well, you know, I don't know if that's quite list-worthy, but I'm intrigued. Terminal Velocity.
Oh, man, this looks like a white action movie right here.
Charlie Sheen, though, I don't know. Ooh, James Gandolfini. Follows a daredevil skydiver who is caught up in a criminal plot by Russian mobsters, forcing him to team up with a freelance secret agent in order to survive.
You know, this isn't dumb enough.
It was one of the 2 skydiving-themed action films released in the fourth quarter of 1994.
I think the other one was Drop Zone?
It was Drop Zone. It mostly received negative reviews.
Drop Zone received better reviews. I think this one's the loser. This is the Genetti.
Well, you know, given the kind of weird shit that Charlie Sheen has said later in his life, I think it is the Genetti. Jason's Lyric is an erotic, romantic, psychological drama.
Ooh, no thanks.
Yeah, not my vibe.
I don't want almost any of the words in that sentence.
Wait, but Eddie Griffin's there.
No, I don't. Is he the lead? Please.
No, he's not. Oh, and Forrest Whitaker.
Is he the lead?
No. It's like a cameo. The story is about 2 mentally scarred brothers who choose different paths in dealing with their tragic childhood, and things that happen from there. I think, like, look at my man's here peering with anger, and this guy lurking. I don't know, this doesn't go well for anybody. Not my kind of film. It's a little too...
No thanks.
Dark, and... Ed Wood, I've actually never seen.
I kind of always wanted to watch this.
Yeah.
I've seen bits of it.
I have seen bits of it.
It's a classic, right? It's widely regarded. It's just something I never quite got to. But I love the idea, and I love every piece of it I've ever seen.
I have to wonder if it's not in a similar vein to The Disaster Artist, art imitating life in an unsatisfying way.
Well, alright, so the difference there is that there's a lot of footage of, like, Tommy Wiseau, and so The Disaster Artist can never quite live up to that glory.
Yeah, that's true.
There's not a lot of footage of this.
This is, there's more than you would think, but not comparatively, no. This is, of course, about Ed Wood, the cult filmmaker, starring Johnny Depp, directed by Tim Burton. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe for the list. It's one of those get around to it kind of things. Not a.
That's a movie that ends up in my Netflix queue for 7 years.
Yeah, that's a really great way. Often when I save videos to YouTube's Watch Later, it is in the spirit of Watch Never, but I want you to know that I care. The River Wild is a 1994 American thriller film starring Meryl Streep, Kevin Bacon, and David Strathairn. Directed by Curtis Hanson. It follows a young family whose whitewater rafting holiday is endangered when they are taken hostage by a pair of armed fugitives. Thanks, dyslexia. I thought that said thugatives.
Okay.
I don't think I care. Let's go to the reviews here.
I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I really didn't expect armed fugitives. I just thought it was, people in danger because they did a dangerous thing and it didn't go well. And then there were armed fugitives and, okay, movie. Well, at least something happens.
I guess it was received really well. I'm surprised I've never heard of it.
I'm not. This is a thriller film from the mid-90s. This movie exists to make Kevin Bacon's connections more powerful and nothing else.
I suppose. Everyone was planning for the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon game. So, The Scout is a comedy film starring Brendan Fraser and Albert Brooks. Wow, starring Albert Brooks. We were still there, huh? After the New York Yankees' latest prospect suffers a humiliating bout of stage fright in his debut for the team, Scout Al Percorlo, who discovered the young man, is punished by being sent to the Mexican countryside to look for his next find, where he encounters Steve Nebraska, a man with a real name.
That would be Brendan Fraser,
Brendan
I would
Fraser.
imagine.
Diane West, Michael Rappaport.
This is a lesser Brendan Fraser, I
Bob
believe.
Costas. Steinbrenner's there, as he often was in the 90s. J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. It's good to see JJ there.
It was a flop, so yeah, I expected. And the last of September, second best. Closely follows the 1991 novel The Same Name by David Cook, who also wrote the screenplay. Graham Holt is a single man who wants to adopt a son. James Leonard is a disturbed child brought up in foster care. And then they learn to like each other, maybe?
Sure.
William Hurt, John Hurt, Alan Hurt. No, Cumming, sorry. Keith Allen, though, we do double up on that. Wow, it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but that's 6 reviews. So
everyone who's seen it loves it.
But only 6 people have seen it.
Hey, you know what? This movie's kind of like our podcast.
Yeah, October looks pretty small, so let's go ahead and roll through that. If my throat wasn't acting up, I would sing The Only You. Romantic comedy, starring Marissa Tomei, Robert Downey Jr., and Bonnie Hunt. For those of you who are MCU heads like ourselves, this is the film everyone's always referencing. After playing with a Ouija board with her brother Larry, 11-year-old Faith Korvach becomes convinced that her soulmate, the man she's destined to be with, is named Damon Bradley. I have heard the plot of this film, actually.
This is the Tony Stark and Aunt May film? Yeah, okay.
It sounds fine. Maybe even fun. I don't know that it's on my list, unless someone I know is interested in me watching it, which may be the case. But
I'm not.
It's not you. But it sounds fine. The Specialist, man, the dyslexia is real bad tonight.
I think I've actually seen this.
The Speculated is what I was given. Action thriller film starring Sly Stallone, Sharon Stone, James Woods, Eric Roberts, and Rod Steiger. Loosely based on the series of novels by John Shirley. It wasn't good, but there was a turn the beat around dance section, which turned the song into a sensation. Is this going on the list?
No, I vaguely remember watching this, but only in that I've seen Sylvester Stallone and Sharon Stone be in an action thing together. I have that vague connection in my head, and it's entirely possible they did an entirely different movie. That's what I'm thinking of.
Might be. After working for the CIA, he becomes a freelance hitman. Things get actiony and complicated.
Sounds cool, but I don't know if it needs to be on the list.
A Troll in Central Park.
Now this I've seen.
I have not seen it.
I have seen a Troll in Central Park.
I've seen a review of it.
It's bad.
It's in the copium Don Bluth era, as we would call it today. Dom DeLuise, Cloris Leachman, Charles Nelson Riley, and Philip Glasser. Haley Mills and Jonathan Pryce. Wow.
I saw this when I was a little kid, and I thought it was dumb then.
It wasn't very good. It was not very good. Stanley is a troll with a magical green thumb who is exiled from the kingdom of trolls because that, they're supposed to be gross. Is the vibe there. And then they have to deal with that.
Okay, well, no thanks. I don't want to ever see this again.
I believe the Queen troll scenes are, really good, but the movie's not worth it for that. The Browning version, I don't know that I like that. Drama film, based on the 1948 stage play of the same name. Man, what happened to summaries? Andrew Crocker Harris hates fairies.
Really, bruh?
That's what I had. He's a teacher of Greek and Latin at British public school, and he's being forced to retire because of his poor health. He's feeling poorly, but they're not going to give him a pension. And everyone hates him, and every time he reaches into his pocket, he pulls out a handful of poop, and someone kicks him right in the nuts.
At some point, he decided to start making up things, but I can't actually prove when that was.
A lot of this text here is everything bad that could happen to a man does.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm all right. That's fine. Exit to Eden.
You got to make that guy real hateable.
American comedy thriller, directed by Gary Marshall, adapted to the screen by Deborah Amelon and Bob Brunner from Anne Rice's novel of the same name.
Oh, so it's incredibly self-indulgent.
Yeah, this is the one where Rosie O'Donnell puts on bondage gear.
Oh, pass.
Yeah, this is like a BDSM thriller. All I remember is that scene in the commercials. So.
Yeah, we'll call that a adamant pass.
But do I put that in the thumbnail?
Oh yeah.
Okay, let me open that back up then. Hoop Dreams is it's a documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary.
30-minute short film was originally intended to be, for PBS, but then it went full length. What is it about? A story of two African-American high school students and their dream of becoming professional basketball players. Hope
it worked out for them.
Yeah, I hope it worked out for them. Imaginary crimes, that is what many of the films we've discussed are about. Period drama, starring Harvey Keitel, Fariza Balk, Kelly Lynch, Vincent D'Onofrio.
I haven't heard Fariza Balk's name in a bit.
No, she doesn't look that different. Huh. A charismatic con artist, Ray Weiler, is raising his two daughters, teenage Sonia and young Greta. If you have a child named Greta, they are young Greta.
Young Greta, until they are old Greta.
Yes. His wife is dead from the cancer, and he does crimes about it? I'm tired already. It's not... I don't care.
Brother, get a job at a carpet store. It's okay.
Yeah, and maybe he does, and maybe that's how it goes, but, I'm not sold. These aren't trailers. These are Wikipedia articles. I Like It Like That is a comedy drama about the trials and tribulations of a young Puerto Rican couple living in a poverty-stricken New York City neighborhood in the South Bronx.
Okay.
Sounds pretty good. We got a Rita
fine.
Moreno in there.
I'm okay, but...
Not my thing, but it does sound like it was probably pretty good. Little Giants is a family sports comedy.
Absolutely seen Little Giants.
Yeah? Do you want to tell us about Little Giants? Got Rick Moranis and Ed O'Neill.
Little Giants is...
it's also about Ohio.
What if the Mighty Ducks felt more like a Rick Moranis movie is the only way to describe it? Little Giants is just a classic kids movie. I wouldn't say it's very good. I believe it is the origin of a thing you might recognize of, you know the bit in The Simpsons where Lisa Simpson shows up? It's like, that's right, a girl's gonna play football. And Flanders is like, that's great, we already have a couple girls on the team. That's making fun of this movie.
Fantastic.
There's a tomboy in it. She wants to play football. There is drama about that. I think is the only thing I remember because that is the character in the movie I liked the best.
Never change. You're not going to, but please continue to be you. Pulp Fiction.
Another small independent movie.
I have seen this. Only because of you, actually.
Yeah, I forced him to watch this.
Despite being a pretty big fan of most of Quentin Tarantino's work, I can't speak for anything that's happened after Inglourious Bastards. I had not managed to watch this until about 10 years ago.
Basically, shortly after we met, you told me you had never seen Pulp Fiction, and then things conspired to prevent that from happening for a while after that.
Yeah.
But we made pretty quick work of it once it was an option, because this movie is formative for me. And now you might be asking yourself, viewer, formative, but you usually use that for things you see when you're a small child. That doesn't seem like a movie you would watch when you're a small child. I want to explain to you something.
Guys, did you see the last episode of this show?
I want to explain to you something. Yeah, that would be true, but it's not for me. So I saw this movie when I was, I think, maybe sub 10 years old.
I don't think it's his best, but it's a pretty good movie.
I'm not sure what I think probably the Kill Bill duology together are his best movie.
Yeah.
But I love Pulp Fiction because it is very iconic and it is the origin of a bunch of stuff that
that has continued to be parodied today. Yeah.
It is just seeped into popular culture. Yeah. It is probably the reason Samuel L. Jackson is as big a star as he is.
Quentin Tarantino is the reason Sam Jackson is as big a star as he is. I will say maybe Reservoir Dogs might be his best. One could make an argument.
For me, Reservoir Dogs very much has freshman film on it.
It's really good, though.
It's really good.
And mind you, I probably agree with you. It's probably both Kill Bill movies. I'm a very... I like style. And that's two very stylish movies. But, man, Reservoir Dogs is a really well-made film.
Django Unchained is also excellent.
I've not seen that one.
You should.
I should. You're absolutely right. Bullets Over Broadway. Black comedy crime film directed by Woody Allen, which is the reason I haven't seen it. I've seen like 2 of his movies.
I'm
They're
out.
Fine.
If this is Shark Tank, I'm out.
John Cusack, Diane Wiest, Chaz Palminteri, and Jennifer
fake.
Tilly.
That guy's fake. That guy's not real.
Let me see here. Let's see.
Oh, it's that guy.
Calogero Lorenzo Chaz Palminteri is not real. Yeah, you're right. Wow,
okay.
that's crazy.
I know who that is. I thought it was Pullman Space Terry. I wasn't looking at the screen.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's not... I don't know. It might be cool. I was going to say it's not my vibe, but like...
No, this is a Rat Pack movie, but like they're all dead, so we had to do our best.
I'm not really a Woody Allen guy. It's probably a little too long and a little too ponderous. Clerks.
Man, we really hit some highlights this one. I don't know if the Rosie O'Donnell movie's gonna make the fucking cut, my guy.
Yeah, maybe. I have absolutely seen Clerks, and I don't know if it would hold up for me viewing it today, other than the nostalgia. Much like many of the Star Wars films, I don't know, and I don't want to find out. I'm okay with it living in the past.
Leave the memories alone.
Yes,
as
absolutely. But when I did see it, yeah, absolutely. Firmament, revolutionary, mind-blowing. Took me on a Kevin Smith odyssey.
Yeah, this movie is, if it wasn't super clear by how I talk and act and my general vibe, this movie was really important to me when I was a teenager.
For those of you out there who are bigger wrestling fans than you are movie fans, Kevin Smith is kind of like the CM Punk of films. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, no, okay.
I'm going to leave it at that. Love Affair. is about a love affair. Thanks for coming. The Puppet Masters, you thought that was a bit, is a science fiction horror film.
I've seen. Is this Puppet Master?
The Puppet Masters. Not
Okay.
related to the franchise.
Oh, well then no, I don't know what this is.
Robert Heinlein's 1951 novel, the same title, adapted by Ted Elliott, Terry Rossio, and David S. Goyer.
I've probably read that.
A trio of American government agents attempt to thwart a covert invasion of Earth by mind-controlling alien parasites. Stars Donald Sutherland, Eric Thal, Keith David, Julie Warner, and Andrew Robinson.
Wow, this sounds good. I'm gonna be real.
It was a critical and commercial failure.
What?
So maybe read the book.
This is why. Yeah. Okay. I like Heinlein. I probably read this and forgot it. I'm gonna be real.
There were a bunch of rewrites. There was a bunch of crap going on. Yeah, I would read the book.
Okay. Yeah, that's too bad. That sounds good on paper.
Yeah. All right. We're coming down here rather quickly. Radioland Murders, comedy thriller, executive produced by George Lucas. It's set in the 1939 atmosphere of old-time radio and pays homage to the screwball comedy films of the 30s. It tells the story of writer Roger Henderson trying to settle relationship issues with his wife Penny while dealing with a whodunit murder mystery at the radio station. Mary Stuart Masterson, Michael Lerner, Ned Beatty.
George Lucas began development of this in the 1970s.
Cameo appearances. Nah, he just produced it.
No, second paragraph.
Oh, no, from a story by Lucas. Wow. Yeah. Oh, there you are. Yeah.
He started this in the 1970s. He didn't get it made until the mid-90s. No. This is going to have George Lucas dialogue that no one was brave enough to tell him no about. I'm not watching it.
Yeah, that's too bad because it did sound kind of interesting.
I know this.
Good eye. Good eye. The Last Seduction was the last time anyone was ever seduced. Featuring Linda Florentino, or Fiorentino, yep, second thing. Peter Berg and Bill Pullman.
A neo-noir erotic thriller starring Bill Pullman.
This is where I'd like to lay it on thick and be like, tell me more, but no. Dean Norris is there as Shep.
Hank Schrader is not someone you expect to see unannounced.
It was pitched to ITC Entertainment as a standard Skinamax low-budget movie.
Well, okay.
They were trying to make a good film. I don't know if it was...
They made a film.
Critical acclaim. People really liked it.
Well, good for them.
Not my vibe, but...
I'm happy everyone liked watching Bill Pullman.
All right. We're almost done. Drop Squad. What an interesting poster. Spike Lee depicts a team of African Americans who kidnap fellow black people who they feel have betrayed their community and seek to deprogram them so that they will change their ways. The acronym DROP stands for Deprogramming and Restoration of Pride. Described as one part thriller, one part social satire.
I'm going to slowly back away from this Wikipedia article.
Among the ad campaigns the character's involved in is one for a malt liquor called Mumblin' Jack, whose billboard depicts a woman in a skimpy bikini straddling a bottle with the slogan, "It gets you crazy." I don't know why that's pertinent, but thank you. Looks like it's got a good cast, but yeah, it's not really my vibe. The Road to Wellville, I remember hearing about this. Comedy drama, adaptation of the novel of the same name. Doctor and clean living advocate John Harvey Kellogg and his methods employed at the Battle Creek Sanitarium at the beginning of the 20th century.
Man, alright, a comedy drama about Kellogg? He was real talk crazy.
Yeah.
He was old school fucking upsetting crazy.
That's pretty fascinating, I have to admit.
I mean, just watch like a Dollop episode about it. I don't think you need the movies.
I don't think I need to watch the one guy from the Dollop. Silent Fall is a psychological thriller starring Richard Dreyfuss, Linda Hamilton, John Lithgow, J.T. Walsh, and Liv Tyler in her debut role. Focuses on a boy with autism who's the only witness to a savage double murder of his parents. And it's 1994, so you know that portrayal is going to be pitch perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
It might be cool, though. Psychological thriller, good cast. What's the response? Largely negative. Never mind.
We don't like listening to Rotten Tomatoes here, but sometimes it's a good way to get a vibe.
Well,
Jack.
and just like overall, Squanto: A Warrior's Tale is a historical action-adventure film from Disney about Squanto.
From the 90's. I don't know that this will have aged very well.
Adam Beach,
Oh,
at the very
Adam
least.
Beach. No, okay.
Playing Squanto. I don't know. I'm not interested in this kind of film. I don't like the Disney documentary-ish, like the those kind of film, historical dramas. It's not for me, but it might be decent. Let us know in the comments if you watched it when you were young or recently. And finally, Stargate is a science fiction action-adventure film. Sometimes I do it just to be weird. Sometimes I do it to keep you on your toes. How well are you listening? Are you like, oh, what is Stargate? That sounds very interesting. It's Stargate.
Is this... This is the same Stargate from the sci-fi series, right? It's the same...
This is the movie that, yeah,
that
they kicked that off.
it?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
I've never seen it. I don't care. I don't think Stargate's interesting.
I
It's a little visually striking, but I don't... I feel like everything that happens is so... When I was a child, I thought it was trite.
Stargate is like Portal sci-fi.
That part's fine, but like the whole Egyptian thing...
A lot of it, there's a lot going on, and as a nerd, as a Star Wars, Star Trek nerd, Stargate, along with Babylon 5, has always been kind of at the periphery of my world, and I hear just stuff about it, and it's just a lot of stuff on the edges that's not, I don't know, I'm not gonna watch this. But I find it sort of distantly fascinating, I guess. Huh. That exists.
Yeah, I'm not... it's not my thing. The series might be more to my interest because they really step away from the Egypt stuff in the series, as I understand it. But
I mean, the one I know of most is about Atlantis, I think.
that was one of them, yes. But there we have it. Those are the films for... Oh, boy. Oh, buddy. Oh, a little preview. It's coming next episode. It's going to get good in here.